Welcome to our podcast, Broker Banner Denver, where we are breaking down barriers to home ownership. I'm your host, Kim Davis, the real estate expert.
And I'm Patrick Williams, the mortgage guy. We're here to inform and educate about the home buying and financing process.
And on today's episode, we are going to talk about April real estate numbers and how the market has changed year over year. And that's it.
That's about it. I think there's a lot to go off of in April and hopefully some positives.
Yeah. So as we said in the last podcast, you're getting ready to go on a cruise.
This is the truth you speak. So we are headed to the Caribbean. We're going to do a 7-day cruise out of Miami here.
I think we were talking about the different styles of swimsuits, right? Weren't you going to buy a swimsuit here?
Well, I don't think we talked about that on a previous podcast.
No,
but you and I were talking about that.
You and I had a conversation about it.
So there's been a shift in swim trunks for men. And it's a hard one. I'm getting comfortable with it. I'm trying to stay in style, but some of these younger guys are really wearing like some Tom Selleck type shorts.
Yes, like total 80s.
Yeah, like Magnum PI. Yeah,
Tom
they're
Selleck.
very short.
Yes.
So I'm getting a little more comfortable with above the knee. But my upper thighs have not seen sun
in years,
30
decades.
Yeah. So I have some above the knee swim shorts.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that you just bought recently?
Yes.
Today?
Yeah, recently. I went to the surf shop and they had a couple different options, but a
the
lot
surf
of them,
shop, which is funny because back in the day they were like board shorts where you had the pockets.
I
they looked
still
like
have board
cargo
shorts. I still have a couple pairs of like Billabong or Quicksilver board shorts, which I'll still wear if I'm doing like some paddle boarding,
right?
Or things like that. But if I'm just hanging out at the pool, I feel like they go like over my knees, and so that's not cool anymore.
You need good shorts where when you're walking around, especially like on cruises, right? You're on the ship, then you get off.
Yeah,
you
somebody was saying how much walking you do on the boat. It's like everywhere you got to go is like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's either aft or I can't remember what it is, like the front of the boat or the back boat. I think it's aft and it's not back.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Starboard.
That's left
port,
and right. Yeah.
Port and starboard.
But then you'll see, like, if you get direction, they'll be like, oh, it's aft. Or
I'm going to have to learn all these nautical terms. This is my first cruise. I'm a little nervous about it. Hopefully
you'll be fine. You'll
I'm
be
sure
fine, and you may love it.
I'm sure I'll love it. And we've got some good ports of call. Is that what they're ports of call?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a little snorkeling, and we've rented like some golf carts to go like around. But the one thing I will say, there's a lot. You have to get dressed up on the
for
cruise.
Dinner.
Yeah, and I'm not really about that. Like
you'll be fine. A polo shirt and.
I mean, they say to bring like a tie and jacket.
Well, they usually have one day that is a formal night.
Okay.
And it's one night that's formal night. And the rest of it is dressy, but not formal. Like there's like, you'll see people in tuxes and.
I'm not going to wear a tux, that's for sure. And
I'm
I'm probably not going to bring a tie. I've got a blazer.
You don't need a tie.
I can do that. But I just am not into getting the dress up.
And it gets cold. It gets cold on the boat. I mean, the AC is pumping and so you'll be fine dressed up.
I don't like dressing up. I'm more of a casual guy.
Speaking of being casual, you know why that is?
Why is that,
It's
Kim?
because we're in Denver. Denver, or Boulder, is considered one of the most casual cities across the U.S. I believe there's an article on, where's the article from?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let me look it up. There's an article that I was just reading, and the reason why I was looking for this article is because my brother had told me that how casual Colorado is compared to most states. And if you think about it, having lived here, I mean, there are a lot of people in athleisure. How do you say that word? Where it's
athleisure.
Athleisure wear.
Athleisure wear. Yes.
And so we were talking about that because as we talked about on the last podcast, my daughter had a high school graduation, and everyone was like, there were a lot of people in shorts and T-shirts. And
I think a graduation is a time to put a jacket on, at least a blazer.
You're sitting at Red Rocks.
It's hot, though.
It's hot.
It was hot. You said it was hot.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I had a black shirt on and gray pants that were like very, kind of
dressy,
but breathable.
Oh,
right. And so
athleisure.
Athleisure.
Yes,
wear.
that is the nice thing about that stuff is that it's like the newer fabrics that are
Yes.
not like you don't get sweaty in them. They
Exactly.
breathe better.
Right.
And there's a lot of new stuff that's coming out. And that's, I think, part of maybe the outdoor culture that is
Of
here
Colorado,
in
right.
the Front Range, right? Is
Because-
like you go out to dinner and then after dinner you go for a hike
Yeah.
or, like
hoodies and
flannel shirts
flannel
everywhere.
shirts and
Birkenstocks.
leggings and Birkenstocks. I mean, so there's an article from
Chacos.
dresscodefinder.com and America's best dressed and most casual cities. And so best dressed cities, which, does number one, Beverly Hills.
That makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Number
Yeah.
two, once again, I'm going top to bottom, but number two.
Oh, yeah. Aren't we supposed to go backwards,
Yeah, I know.
Kim?
Oh, well,
Okay.
too late. Palm Beach, Florida. That one surprised me. I'm surprised any city in Florida is
They seem pretty casual.
yeah, they seem
they'd be like
casual.
more like beachwear,
Yeah.
right?
Palm Beach and even a beach. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think that would be best dressed, but maybe a lot of
Honolulu
money there.
is next.
Yep.
Same
I wouldn't
deal.
think that either. I
Yeah,
would think
DC
island wear, Washington, D.C. I can see.
That makes sense.
And number 5 makes no sense either. Scottsdale, Arizona.
We were there last fall and it was hot as Hades down there. It was in October. It was 100 degrees.
Was everyone dressed really well?
No. I mean,
That's what I'm
Scottsdale
saying.
is a nice town. I love Scottsdale. It's great. As long as it's like November to March. That's my new rule.
That's all of Arizona. I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
My son's going to school down there, and it's just 120 degrees there. If you have not
Which
experienced
is
120 degrees,
interesting. GCU, which is where your
Grand
son
Canyon,
goes,
yeah.
right? Grand Canyon University. They start late because of the heat, right? They don't start school until like second week of September.
it's like the
after
very
Labor Day.
no, it's the
right?
last week of August. I think we moved him in like the
Oh,
last
really?
weekend of August.
And then
So it's
they-
still hot. It was 120 degrees.
And then they get out early.
yeah,
like-
he was done before the end of April.
right.
But they also don't get the long breaks.
Right.
So like his Christmas break is more like
Right.
a high school break. It was only like 2 weeks.
That's because of
So they compress
Heat.
they
Yeah,
compress the
compress the
year to get you out of there because
Right.
it is so hot. But it's surprising that they, what are they wearing 3-piece suits down there in 120 degrees?
I don't know.
I
But
wouldn't.
okay, so most casual cities will go 5 to 1.
Okay, good work. You
Right?
remembered this
yeah,
time.
number 5 is Sonoma, California. So
Okay.
I'm guessing wine country.
Wine
right?
country.
So you're drinking, riding bikes. You're probably walking in a winery
don't-
in bike
don't-
gear.
yeah.
You don't care, right?
Yeah,
All
athleisure.
right, 4, Newark, New Jersey.
Newark?
Newark. Newark?
Yeah, Newark. It's new. No, not New Newark. Kind of suburb of New York City.
You know what that makes me think of is this is going to age me too. Is what was that New Jersey MTV show?
the Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
That was such a terrible show, Kim.
I know, but they
What
were
was
really
that?
casual dress.
What was the guy's name?
Snooki and
Yep. What was the guy's name?
the situation,
The
Micah's
Situation.
situation. Yeah, and
Anybody
that's-
whose name is the situation, obviously.
But you know, they had a reboot. Like they rebooted it for like an episode or something like that. So
not that long
yeah.
ago.
Recently, within
That
like
sounds
the last
like
year,
a bad
I think.
idea. Are they still doing the same shenanigans?
I
20
don't
years
know.
later?
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch
Okay.
it. They've all been married and have
Yeah.
babies. Some probably married and divorced. I don't know. I just kind of saw that they were rebooting. I'm not sure. I know that Snooki, right? That she was the one with I mean, it was like 90s, like the high hair and the.
I just remember there was a lot of faked hands in that show, and really like big hair.
That's what I'm
like
saying. Yeah,
Spiky
big hair.
and
Right,
and her
right,
too. I mean,
right.
even the guys though, like that East Coast vibe's a little different than what we have out
Yes,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that they're casual.
agree.
'Cause usually around New York, you're a little more dressier. But,
Yeah.
Bloomington, Illinois. I'm guessing that's a
suburb of Chicago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that surprises me too. As casual cities, maybe it's because they're so cold all the time. They have to. Wear
Yeah,
a
the
lot of
Midwest.
jackets.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're just always wearing big puffy jackets and hats.
So 2 is Oakland, California.
Oaktown.
Yeah. Used to be Old Raiders. That's right next to San Fran. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but
too.
I mean, I
But
think
know
that's
it's
they've got a
different.
pretty chill vibe,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay, and then
And then
number
number
one.
one is Boulder, Colorado, which Boulder, Denver. I mean, it's different. Yeah, it is different, but Boulder is more casual than Denver, I would say. But I would say that Boulder and Denver are both very casual.
I
cities.
think in comparison, it's the outdoor lifestyle and the more casual. You can get away with wearing, hiking stuff,
Right,
to a
and
nice
walking into
restaurant.
a
I mean, maybe
restaurant
not a nice restaurant. But
Right.
you can get away with it.
But I mean, just like you said, when you go to events, it's not like people are super dressed up. I mean, like
No.
graduations and
No, I think it also, what were we watching? It was like Father of the Bride or something.
Oh, yes.
And,
Love that
I mean,
show.
what was that, like 20, 25 years ago? And the way that the parents looked in that show,
Yes.
it was insane.
so old.
So
Steve
old. I
Martin
feel like
and,
I'm that age. What's her
Steve Martin
name?
and shoot. Diane Keaton. Thanks, Jesse. Diane Keaton.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think they were like 40, right? Or
Yeah, they're
50s
like,
in
I mean,
that?
I want to say they're
Yeah.
probably close to where we are.
Yeah, that
and
is
they
crazy.
look
So
so old.
old.
Like completely gray, pearls, it's a different, the Gen X, we don't roll with that. We still want our Jordans and it's still, I think a lot of
Speaking of
us do that.
Jordans, I know that we are bantering for a long time.
We
but
are.
My
We should
daughter,
probably get to
yes.
April
Okay, really
numbers.
quick. But my
Okay.
daughter loves Jordans. She's a huge
Sneakerhead?
Huge sneakerhead.
Okay.
For a girl, that's
Yeah.
a little bit different. But for graduation, right? Seniors at Chatfield, most of them, you don't have to, but most of them get white dresses.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was watching everyone walk across stage, and like all these kids like had heels on or like kind of flip
And
floppy.
Lulu's wearing like a
nicer
pair of
flip-flop
Jordan
shoes.
3s.
Jordan 3s.
Yeah.
How did you know
I don't know.
threes?
Those are the best ones.
So their colors are burgundy and silver,
Yeah,
and so
and she
it was.
had
and she
the-
had a burgundy, cap, or the gown was.
Yeah.
Well, cap and
But
gown
she
were both
matched the
burgundy.
Jordans
She
with the
matched so
gown.
well, and she said that the principal, which is his name is Thanos. This is his last name. Is that not cool?
Oh, like Marvel, the
yeah.
Marvel guy.
Yeah, exactly. So Thanos said that he was like, "Hey, Lulu, nice shoes." It's like Jordans, huh? And so it was.
That's
pretty
awesome.
funny. And they're, she just wore them the first time for graduation, so they're bright white, and they looked great as she was walking across
That's
the
awesome.
stage. But anyways,
I do think that there's some, difference in Denver is a younger city. There's a lot of young
Yeah.
people here. There's a lot of,
Active.
it's active.
Yes.
It's an outdoor community where people are biking and running and hiking and paddleboarding and doing all kinds of fun
Right.
things on the river or whatever. And so I think we just have a little more of a casual vibe. I like it.
Yeah.
So it's
I
hard
do
for me
too.
to adjust to where they're saying, people are going to be in tuxes. I'm like, really? I'm on a boat.
yeah,
Like,
there's not that many people in Texas, but I mean, a jacket and a
okay.
long
All
sleeve
right.
shirt.
I'll take
Yeah.
a blazer.
Yeah.
I'll take
Perfect.
a blazer. All right.
Perfect. Okay, so April market. You want to hear about the real estate market and
I
what's been
do.
going
I'm
on?
very excited to hear about what's going on. So, all of the numbers for April have been released.
They have.
What are they telling us?
Well, it's what you would expect probably with interest rates and how they've been going. But
April was not a good month for interest rates. So, I think maybe that had something to do with it.
they got better though.
They got better towards the May. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're talking
Right.
about April.
Yeah.
Wow, we are on top of it. And so April, let's talk about April.
Yeah.
So 51% more inventory in April from April of 2023.
Well, that is great news.
Yeah. So that is the best news for buyers. It's really great for buyers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that seems to be one of the largest challenges that we have in real estate right now, not just
Right.
in the Denver market, in real estate as a whole.
Right.
Is nobody wants to list their
Inventory,
house.
right? So,
Yeah.
thank you, sellers, for actually putting your
Yes.
house on the market and walking away from that, low interest rates. But, like you said, things happen to sellers, right?
Yeah.
Family,
Life happens.
Yeah. Like whether it's
people have
differences in
babies, people get married, people get divorced,
Correct.
people unfortunately
Correct.
pass away,
Yes.
and life happens.
Life
so
happens.
things, when life happens,
Right.
moves take place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the big news. The difference is.
So
let
what
me
were
just-
the numbers?
Yep.
So 50%. We went up from
Right.
what in 2023?
So in 2023, we were 4,620 active homes at the month's end.
And that's like less than a month's
Oh,
worth of
yes,
inventory,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, around a month.
Okay.
Month and a half,
Month
maybe
and a
6
half?
weeks.
Okay,
or so.
but a typical market, a healthy market or imbalance is how many months of inventory
Actually, so maybe it's 2.5. It's about 10,000 homes.
would be, and that's like a
That would
3 to
be
6
about a
month?
6-month
Okay.
market. And so actually maybe 46 is about 2 or 3 months. But
Okay.
but yeah. So right now, active is 6,990. That was at the end of May.
So almost
end of April.
So
sorry.
almost 7,000 homes
Almost
on the
7,000,
market, which is
correct.
getting much closer to that 10,000 number,
Correct.
which would be considered a more of a balanced
market. So
Okay.
that's why we keep saying that, hey, this is a great time for buyers to buy, right? Even though interest rates may still be a little bit higher, even though they've come down, you have an opportunity to get into the market and maybe even have some negotiating power. So
Yeah.
that's huge. Let's see here. What else has happened? So detached, which is a house, an actual house that doesn't, sits by
detached,
itself,
meaning
right,
not a
versus-
condo, not a townhouse.
Correct. So that at the end of April was last year 3,257, and so now it's 4,719. So of the numbers that I had just given previously, you can see most of the homes in the Denver metro area are, actual homes, detached,
Single-family
family
residence
homes. So
is
they're
what
not
we'll call
townhomes or
them.
condos.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So then, you can do the attached from there, but 1363 last year, 2271 at the end of April.
So this is really good news, Kim.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's-
think
it is great news,
Yeah,
actually.
because simple supply and demand. When there's low inventory, there's just not a lot of options out there, and so buyers just have less homes to look at,
Correct.
to shop through, and it kind of supply and demand. When there's no homes on the market, we still have demand for those homes. Prices are going to keep going up.
Right. Well, and what is really interesting is that most of those homes range, like the good chunk of them during that was the price range of 500 to 750,000. So probably a lot of move up buyers,
Yeah.
or people coming in, not very many first time home buyers as.
Or
I
going
would think
above
that price-
700.
going 500, 750, yeah.
That is kind of the typical.
First move up
Yeah.
price range, I
Yeah.
would say.
Some first-time home buyers too. I
Yeah,
mean, I
there
think
are-
we work with some that are in that 500 price range.
Right. We have one first-time home buyers, and they're buying, close to $1 million, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're doing well for themselves. Yeah. So, but I would say most first-time home buyers, if they are trying to get into a single family, they're looking in that
Into a single family, absolutely.
Yeah, like it's hard to find
Absolutely.
anything in Denver for less than that kind of 500.
Yeah, for a house, anyways. I mean, obviously, there are definitely areas that you can find a house in,
Yeah.
400s.
There
There's
are
always
and
a few areas. Absolutely.
we've identified some of those areas
Right,
as
we
well, and we have a product at the mortgage company, which is a community lending program, and I've been seeing about half a point to 1 point reduced interest rates on that program. So if you're able to
that's
get
great.
into one of those areas, coupled with the lower home values.
Yes.
It's really affordable and a great program to get first time buyers.
And what is it that do you remember what my real estate thing that I say? Because you always say,
Drive until you qualify.
yeah, that's right.
What do I say?
Shoot, date the rate, marry the house.
Yes. Look at that. We're picking up each other's.
Each other's sayings.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's pretty much it. The Denver Metro,
So
we talked
inventory
about
is
it.
up.
Inventory's up.
What about number
we
of
ranked,
sold homes? Is that also up?
Oh, let me see here.
Does that tell you that? I'm just curious
Yeah.
if it seems
And
like
I think we mentioned this before too, but we are still considered the hottest market in the country.
That's right.
Denver. is
Denver-
considered- which I would say includes Boulder, but yeah, the Denver area, according to U.S.
not Fort
News and
Collins,
Report.
not Colorado Springs, but the Denver metro.
Correct.
I think it is
According
kind
to-
of starting to turn into one front range
it is.
area,
I
but
think it is, too.
I think the Denver metro is separate from Fort Collins and Colorado Springs.
I do too.
Yeah.
What was your question?
I was asking about number of sold homes because typically,
Yeah.
if you have more inventory, there's more transactions.
That is correct. So let's see here if I can pull those up.
I put her on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
I thought she'd
well,
have them all
so
there.
I have them. I just have to flip through a lot of screens.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, but they're broken down. The way that I have these is they're broken down into different price point ranges.
Oh, okay.
And so, let's see here. Solds.
We can move on if you have any other. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just remember the market updates that you send me because Kim was my personal realtor when I bought my home, and it always had like inventory and sold, and so I thought it was going to be all together.
You know what? It is all together, but it's just it's a different.
It's a
yeah,
different-
and I just pulled up different stats, and so you know what? That would have been a good thing to have. But I have properties sold between 750 and 999. So from April of 2024 to April 2023, have new list. Oh, those are still new listings. So where's my closed? 611 were this April
Okay.
and 550.
Okay,
were
so it did go
April
up.
2023.
It did go
Yes.
up.
And 750 to 900 or 750 to 9. I'm sorry. Well, it's 999,000.
750 to a million.
So yeah, million. Let's
can
just
say a
call it a
million.
million.
Yeah.
And then 500 to 750 ish,
Uh-huh.
because it's 749,999.
Uh-huh.
Solds were, or closed volumes were, wow, this one was, so for April of 2024, it was 1,554, so 1,554.
Okay.
And then last year, pretty much the same, actually, 1,580.
So it was actually
So
less.
it was actually
a little
less from 500. You know what that could be? Is price point, right?
Price point. The
Yeah,
same home
750.
last year may have moved out of that.
The 750 range and into the 750 million range, because you see that number was higher.
That makes sense. I do think, though, we're starting to see, we've called it the golden handcuffs, the people that have the 2 to 3% interest rate and they refuse to move or sell. I think we're starting to break loose of that a little bit.
I think so,
I think
too.
those numbers support that.
And we've talked about that. Just I think people are, tired of waiting.
Yeah.
And, they want to move on with life.
They want to
so
move on,
they
and a lot has
continue.
changed since 2020 or 2021. As far as people are going back to work, a remote is not as big of a thing as it was. So maybe you move south, and way out. So now you didn't have to worry about a commute.
Right,
Because I was working from
exactly.
home. But now your office is like, you got to be back in. And so you're like, this stinks. I don't like driving 45 minutes each way.
Right, they
So I would
thought-
like to be back closer to my office again.
They thought, no, it's never going to happen.
Right. That everybody said this is the remote
Right.
revolution.
Now, check, this is kind of interesting, though. Look at the difference, $1 million or more
Mm-hmm.
as far as closed. So April 2024, end of April 2024, closed was 514 homes.
Over $1 million.
Over $1 million.
Okay.
In April of 2023, it was 451.
Okay, so that number
So that
increased as well.
also shows you, right, that
It's not just the lower price points. It's the whole market.
it's the whole market, once again, showing that, Denver does really well as far as equity in your home, your home continuing to go up in price. And so, don't wait. Everyone keeps saying Denver's a bubble. Denver is not a bubble. We do not see it being a bubble.
I don't see it. And a lot of people are thinking, well, prices are going to come down, and this is not the last cycle that we saw. There is a lot of differences. People have a lot of equity. Lending standards have been very tight after the 2009 period. There were
Right.
none of those exotic loans where it was stated income, stated asset.
Right.
As long as you can sign your name, you can buy a house. None of that was a part of this market. So we're not going to see the foreclosures because we have so much equity, right? The lending standards have been tight. And there's still people moving here. People want to live in Colorado. And then when we talk about inventory, even though it went up, we're still less than 3 months worth of inventory, which is still considered a shortage, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's still considered a slight seller's market, right? So they say that the EVA market, like we said just a few minutes ago, 10,000 homes. So if we are below 10, it's still considered a seller's market. But as we know, as we just said earlier also, buyers can get seller's concessions. So
Yeah,
it's a great time to buy. People are still selling. People are still wanting to move.
Absolutely.
So you want to do that. But here is something also interesting. Days on market.
Yeah, that's
in
always a
MLS.
good
That's
indicator.
always
Because during the craziness of like the low interest rate period, stuff was going it wouldn't go more than 2 weeks on the market, right? When
Right.
typically,
It would go in a weekend.
Right.
And actually, we were holding those numbers, where people would be like, hey, I want to make an offer, full price offer. But then we would say, hey, we're going to wait until Monday. And then we would have,
9 offers.
more. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So how many days on market are we looking at for April?
So for April of last year, so once again, because they're broken up, so $1 million, average day on market was 35.
Which that makes sense that those homes would probably be on the market
Right,
a
those
little
are a
longer.
little
There's
more,
a
right.
smaller buyer pool
And
for
so
those homes.
only 4 months or 4 days difference in April of 23 was 31 days on market. And so of course we're looking at April of 24 to April 23.
So
And
a
then-
little bit longer, 4 days, 3 days longer.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. And that was, detached. And then million or more. So 750 to $1 million
Mm-hmm.
days on market. This is crazy. 8 currently in April 2024, 7 in 2023.
That's insane.
That's the
So
market.
you put your house on the market and it's under contract within the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is still, that's still really, and that speaks to the inventory. There's still a lot of buyers out there. So, what about the lower price point?
So here we
7,
go.
8 days.
Yeah.
So-
500 to 750.
Okay, can I guess?
Sure.
500 to 750, that's the range.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher price point was 7 days or 8 days? It was 8 days.
I'm
I'm going to go
Well, when the 750 to
days.
$1 million. So 28 days.
What?
April of 2024.
well, that doesn't make any sense to me because it seems like there would be more buyers for that.
Right.
So
Hey.
the sweet spot is that 750 to $1 million then. is what you're
Yes,
telling
that's
me.
where I think that's the busiest price point that we are
Okay.
seeing here in Denver right
So
now.
under 750, again, tell me how many days on market?
28 days.
What
of
was
April
it in-
24 and April of 23, 32.
Okay, so it's still shorter than it was back
Correct.
then.
Correct. Which is funny
interesting.
because we have more inventory, but I bet you that price point may not have as many houses as we had just
That's
said.
probably a good
Right.
point. Yeah, they're hard to find in that lower price point, especially if you're looking at single family.
And I did not pull any stats on below 500. So
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's all good news, Kim.
yeah,
Right?
It is. I think our market here in Denver, needs to probably slow down a little bit. Let some first-time home buyers get in the market,
Yeah.
but no scare of any big equity loss, which
No,
is great
we're not
news.
going to see that.
Right. I don't know. Who knows? Probably sometime in our lifetime, you would think. We're only midlife. We still have some time.
Maybe. I don't know. You never know. Right?
Never say never.
Yeah, based on what my understanding of the market, I was in the mortgage industry during the 2009 crash,
Right.
The mortgage meltdown, when we saw home prices drop dramatically. I just don't see the same characteristics of this market
Right.
that I did last time.
There was a lot of, like you had said earlier, a lot of stated,
Yeah.
income and a lot. So stated income, just for you that don't know, back in those days, they had a program where you could just say, hey, I make $1 million a year. And they'd go, okay, you just had to stay.
Basically,
Right, state what it was. You
they
didn't
would.
really need-
maybe $1 million would be. I make
Right.
120 a year,
Right.
right? Like,
And
we would.
really-
I don't know that everybody would believe that everyone makes $1 million.
It was a little bit higher interest rate of
It was.
Right.
They.
But if you bartended or waited tables or,
Those
you had
harder
those-
to prove income sources were
Right.
what typically people were doing.
they were trying to give them an opportunity to
Yeah, I think
buy
that
a house. And what happened is that people got wind of it,
maybe took a little bit of advantage of it.
maybe took a little bit of advantage of it, but then it ended up hurting them. And that's why you saw the crash, right? So all these people were doing these stated
Well,
income,
the other
and
piece of
then-
that is, I think also I was actually working at Countrywide
Oh,
Home
yes.
Loans, which
And if
they
you
were
know
one of the
big guys that fell.
I would say they were like one of the fall guys. Like everybody said it was Countrywide's fault for the meltdown, right? Because they did a lot of different loan
Right.
products, and really it was like trying to create homeownership. I think
Right.
the why they did it was good.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know that they could have anticipated what happened. There was still a market that everybody was buying those loans. So, but I think the other piece of that is they would do 80/20s, where basically you could borrow 100%, You have to
Right.
have no down
And
payment.
that is definitely.
So if you got
yes.
100% financing where you didn't have to verify your income, you don't have any skin in the game, really.
Right.
Like, I can walk away from this house because I didn't put any money down.
Right.
And so that was another factor, I think.
And I think just payments were high because people actually didn't make the money that they made.
Right.
And so they defaulted.
And a lot of adjustable rate mortgages.
Yes,
So,
that adjusted.
they would take what they called a teaser rate for the first 3 years. And then all of a sudden after that third year, your interest rate would jump from 5% to 12%. And nobody could afford to
And
make that
actually,
payment.
speaking of adjustable rates, in the commercial side of real estate, a lot of those loans are going to adjust here soon because they were on 7 years or, adjustable.
Yeah,
And
commercial, I
commercial
think we
could
could see
be-
some challenges in that arena.
Yes.
But I think residential is super strong.
residential is strong.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of differences between that market in
Right.
2009 where we
Right.
did see that huge decrease.
Right.
We're not going to see that.
Versus now.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're not going to see that. I think the moral of the story is, we're going to continue to see tight inventory at least for a while. But there's opportunity out there. If you are a buyer and you want to get in, now is the time to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so if that is something you want to do, you should give Patrick or I a call and we can help you get into that home.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's probably does it, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, thank you for those numbers. That was
Yeah,
great.
you're welcome. I'm sorry I didn't have them Johnny on the
I
spot
thought,
like when
I
you
thought
asked,
you had
right?
them all memorized and downloaded. So next time you can try to throw me a curveball and see if you can, maybe we'll start doing that.
Maybe I will.
Maybe it'll
Just
be
a-
like, hey, can I
dead air on the podcast. Shh. That was supposed to be the gray sound. You remember back in the day when you
Yeah, I
used
think
to have to
you're
turn
dating-
the TV.
I think you're dating yourself again.
Turn the
The
TV and it was
snow.
like the gray.
Yeah.
Shh. Is that what it sounded like?
Pretty close. All right. Hey, if you found any information that we provided today useful, please give us a like, share us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube.
Thanks.